I was watching some of the old TiVo shows that I had from CPAC, right? So I TiVoed a bunch of the stuff from CPAC, and I was watching it over the weekend. And one of the things I saw was Rick Santorum's speech, which I had already seen once. And by the way, he brought his family on stage with him at CPAC, Rick Santorum, his whole family, right? So he has 2 boys on either end, right? I think he's got 7 kids. So he's got 2 boys bookending the kids behind him, both wearing sweater vests.
Oh, really?
Both
I will
of
never
his kids,
wear a sweater vest.
Both of his kids wearing sweater vests.
Do you think he thinks if he gets elected, he'll get to own Land's End?
By the way, his oldest daughter looks like a hot Ruth Buzzy. She is.
I got to tell you, I think she's really
gorgeous.
attractive,
Yeah.
right? And she's got such a nice smile. I felt so sorry
And I hear she
for her.
really puts out, too.
I felt very sorry for her to standing behind her father, like giving that look. You know, like she's stuck with that father, and he's just shaming her sexuality, and not and telling her.
the damage is done. He no longer has to shame her. She's self-shaming at this point.
I know. So I was.
It's like we're teaching somebody to fish. You know, you can shame them, but if you can teach them to shame themselves,
Yeah, if you could
you can just turn them
They'll
loose.
be shameful.
teach a man to shame himself.
Sure, you shame them once and they're shamed for the day, but you teach them self-shame,
Yeah.
and they're shamed for life.
There you
and
go.
that's the beauty.
There
right?
you go.
Yeah, I'll cut out all that sloppy stuff that you said. All right, so I was watching. The Citizens United ruling, which was nice because it allows candidates who we would never have to hear from. We get to hear from them now continuously, like Newt Gingrich, right? Because he has a billionaire backing him. He'd have been out of the race a long time ago. Same thing with Rick Santorum. He has a billionaire backing him. It's this guy Foster Freeze, which is his name. Foster's a real name. And so he was introducing, and I just introducing Rick Santorum at CPAC, and I just found a couple of things he said curious, and I wanted to share them. And I know Foster Freeze. He's rich. He's white. He's a conservative.
And he's named after a James Bond villain.
And Foster Freeze is such a cool name. Marcus Bachman wants to change his name to Dairy Queen.
Very nice, Frank.
I picture Foster Freeze as like a James Bond villain who has like a bald sidekick named Snowflake.
And they're both wearing sweater vests?
They're both wearing sweater vests.
By the way, Foster Freeze wearing a sweater vest.
Yeah?
Yes, while he's introducing Rick Santorum. Yes, he is. And so he's rich, white, and conservative. And so I'm just wondering how long it's going to take till he gets to the part where he's a victim. So it's coming, I bet. So here, let's just listen to a little bit of his introduction.
He could win in Pennsylvania because he reaches out to that blue-collar worker. The grandson of a coal miner has an advantage over some guy who makes a lot of money. That's not fair. I make a lot of money. I don't like the fact that I'm discriminated against and considered even evil because of it.
Yeah, see?
Discriminated against.
Because he makes a lot of money. See, like... It seems like everyone's a victim of discrimination at CPAC,
Did you
isn't it?
see those water fountains? No rich people allowed to.
No rich people allowed. Sure, it's the worst kind of discrimination, Frank. It's the kind where the minority groups suppress the majority groups, right? It's the kind where the people with no money and power stick their boot on the throat of the rich and powerful. It's the worst kind of discrimination.
Rich people need their own Rosa Parks, who refuses to sit in the back of the Gulf Stream.
Frank, so what you're saying is, when are the rich white conservatives going to catch a break in this country?
That's
what
exactly
I've been wondering the same thing. Sure, they get to own everything and exploit workers, but why shouldn't they also be able to connect with workers they are exploiting too? It's just not fair. Yeah, him and Rick Santorum have a lot in common. Rick Santorum and Foster Freeze, because Rick's grandfather was a coal miner, and everybody who works for Foster Freeze has a crappy job too. So that's a little bit more. Let's get back to his introduction of Rick Santorum, Foster Freeze at the CPAC.
In fact, I'm discriminated against and considered even evil because of it.
No, you're disliked. You're not discriminated against. You're disliked. There's a difference. Discrimination is where things are made difficult in your path, where you're unfairly judged, where unlawful things happen to you. No, you're just a pompous asshole who's disliked because you're using your financial leverage to...
Yeah. People don't hate you because you're rich. You're rich and people hate you.
Yes.
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 Right. Okay.
The grandson of a coal miner has an advantage over some guy who makes a lot of money. That's not fair. I make a lot of money. I don't like the fact that I'm discriminated against and considered even evil because of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have finally found the ringtone for my phone I've been looking for. I'm never tired of hearing how billionaires are tired of being discriminated against. Just once in my life, I want to hear that lady behind the lunch counter declare, "Hey, millionaire, we don't serve your kind around here, okay? Why don't you just go next door to the place with the 3 Michelin stars, okay? That's where you belong."
Well, he probably also thinks that, it was the slave owners who really had it bad during the Civil War.
That was not fair.
And nobody ever says nice things about slave owners anymore.
And
slaves get reparations.
Right.
What about the cotton industry?
That really took a hit after slavery got abolished. I know. Okay, more back to he's got a little bit more to say before he brings out Rick.
And the other thing I love about Rick Santorum, you'll never hear him say anything divisive.
No.
No, never.
Never. Claiming homosexuality is immoral is really an olive branch to the godless gays. Divisive, he was just goofing with the dog whistle politics. When he was implying Obama's theology wasn't really Christian, it was to bring the people together. And when he said the President Kennedy's speech about separation of church and state made him puke, he meant it was so eloquent that it made him sick to his stomach with envy. This is how he's bringing... Okay, he's got a little bit more.
Nothing is ever divisive. He'll challenge people's positions, but he brings people together.
You know what? As near as I can tell, the only people Rick Santorum has brought together are the people who don't want to vote for Mitt Romney. That's really the only people he's bringing together. The rest of the time, I think they were people who were already together on things like hating homosexuals and a woman's right to choose. And Santorum just kind of showed up at the rally and pretended he did it to bring people together.
Rich and the poor and the middle as like we're 3 different classes.
He doesn't talk about the rich, poor, and the middle class like they're 3 different classes. And you like that about him, Foster Freeze? You like that he doesn't talk about the realities of our economy or our society? I'm just saying that's a weird thing to like about a guy who wants to rule our economy and our society. If I had never heard Santorum speak, based on this one thing, I would assume he speaks about a wonderful Disney-like utopia where churros are free.
He speaks, and maybe I'm stealing his speech, but we're all in this together. And so we have to bring America back to the America that we're all in this together. Rich, poor, white, black, Catholic, Jew, whatever. That's
right, yeah. Instead of Obama's America, where the poor steal our money and date our women.